Hello and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to a Curse Entertainment presentation sponsored by Alienware. This is going to be the Curse Invitational lower bracket Mouse Sports versus Dignitas. Of course, a best of three series, but in this case, Team Dignitas did get a 1-point advantage due to some substantial delays and other issues getting in touch with Mouse Sports here. So, with that in mind, we are going on into the second played game, but the third game as far as score goes, and we'll see exactly what these two teams bring. Dignitas did not have such a great game previously. They did have a lot of limitations in their lineup getting off the ground, and kind of just Mouse Sports taking it away with a really good movement of Lifestealer, Nature's Prophet, and Lanaya, all just able to do so much damage there. So really good movement. Team Dignitas takes up the Lifestealer at first, but we'll have to see how the game plays itself out. I myself am Blaze. Joined with me is Merlini. How's it going, man?
Hey, how's it going? Pretty exciting game to watch. It was fairly intensive to the end. I thought that Dignitas could have taken it had they hit some bigger RPs, but unfortunately that wasn't the case. And I really didn't think that Enchantress pick really worked out for them. They weren't able to take any early towers with it, and I mean, to be honest, he just didn't really do that much in the latter half of the game either. But regardless, Mouse will start off with different bans. Last game they banned out Gyrocopter and Luna. This time they will go for a different strategy because Team Dignitas does have first pick. They banned out Batrider and Wisp, and very standard bans from Team Dignitas, Cupid Light and Nyx Assassin. Although these two heroes have fallen off the top tier.
Yeah, no, I mean, right now the draft seems really powerful in these different situations. Like, the Magnus and Rubric combined together, we see that rather commonly, at least in the Western scene, where they still want the Magnus, but they don't want to have the hardest counter. So, there's a couple ways to maneuver around that. Snake King's Puck is a really good way to start. What they have there is pretty much the Waning Rift and the Dream Coil, both making it so that the Magnus is limited in how he can maneuver, how he can position, how much damage he can deal. But it's possible that we could be seeing something along the lines of an offlane Magnus, a mid-lane Templar Assassin, and that would change things up substantially. Of course, with the fact that their Dire Magnus has more potential to actually accomplish something in the jungle if he needs to, but for right now he feels confident in the position just to go on the offlane because he won't be telekinesis out of a skewer since the Rubik is on his team. So kind of confident about how the laning phase will go if they do have to send the Magnus offlane, but either way, both teams picking up some very aggressive characters.
Yep, and Lifestealer, Lodra, I think that fits very well into Team Dignitas' playstyle. We saw them try and use Alchemist and Lone Druid, but Alchemist just doesn't have the same survivability as Lifestealer without ridiculous amounts of items. And Lifestealer can just rage TP away, and we saw Alchemist just die constantly, even with his Shadow Blade, and even with the Armlet pickup, he just continued to die and didn't really get the big Unstable Concoction RP combos that I think they were hoping for. So much easier hero to play with, and Lifestealer just allows a lot more mistakes from your team, and definitely worthy of a first pick there. So they also have the potential for the Puck Bomb. We saw a lot of global Infest Nature's Prophet global teleports, and I think Mouse Sports utilized that very well, and I think that one of the teams will ban out Nature's Prophet just because of the really ridiculous global presence of that hero.
Yeah, that's a lot of potential. Honestly, it was a primary factor in how Mouse Sports was able to control the battlefield previously, and it just a global teleport would be too obnoxious in this situation. But yeah, interesting pickoff of the Leshrac. I kind of felt like Team Dignitas didn't have all the setup in the world to make that work. Of course, the open wounds, the Lifestealer combined with Leshrac or Lina will always work in general, but just really what were they intending here? Were they going for maybe like a push lineup with the Edict? Were they worried about something like just a hard 2-second stun lockdown to screw over a couple of their initiation tools? Is there any other reasoning behind these kind of ban selections?
I mean, with Keep It Light in the pool, with Keep It Light out of the pool, rather, you always have to be wary of these push threats, and Lone Druid has the potential to just sweep all your T1s and your T2s once you lose a big team fight, so you really need some sort of backup plan in case that happens, and most times they just ban out a lot of the pushers, and now we see Mouse Sports do exactly that. They ban out Leshrac and Chen. They always do have the option of running Shadow Demon and Leshrac too, two very effective roamers, and that Edict causes much more problems for Templar Assassins Refraction than does Lina's pretty much just one instance of damage spells for each of her 3 spells. So I think it's a good ban by them. And Shadow Demon, Lina is strong, but not as strong as Leshrac Shadow Demon just because of that extra pushing potential and extra instances of damage versus Templar Assassin.
So, this playing on out, who do you think is going to have more tools at their disposal? Right now, Team Dignitas decides to take out the Phantom Lancer and the Weaver, despite not having to worry about the Keeper Light, but they're also taking out the Bane. I think that's good to make sure the Lifestealer can kind of stay on point and stay active in right-clicks. Do you think that... I mean, obviously, the one thing I like about Mousesport's draft is that they already have their support under their belt, so they do not have to worry about their second support as much as Team Dignitas, who have to draft up two. But in general, how do you feel about this?
I definitely like Team Dignitas' lineup more. I think they have a better core three. TA has fallen off the top tier, and I think she's more reserved for a fourth and fifth pick. Sure, she did well last game, but it was kind of a position that they put them in with the constant aggression from Nakes and from the global teleport. And if she's forced into a more defensive position, she's not really as useful. And they have Jakiro to proc her refraction. They have Lifestealer, a very tanky hero, can infest if he gets in danger. They have Root. And Puck for the silence, and a very elusive hero. So I don't think Mouseport will have as easy time picking off Team Dignitas' hero like last game. Rubik is just extremely squishy versus Lifestealer and versus TA, and so was the Enchantress last game, and those were just a lot of easy kills for Quickfall in that TA. And this game, it's not going to be so easy for him. Lifestealer, very difficult to kill. Lone Druid is so tanky. Puck ever so elusive with his phase shift and silence and orb, and as well as a blink, usually, which they pick up after. And Jakiro is just very nice to deal with Templar Assassin's Refraction. They have the Liquid Fire and the Macro Pirate and the Dual Breath. So TA, I don't think will have as big of an impact as last game, although she will have the upper hand in the matchup versus Puck.
Yeah. Exactly. Now we see the Venomancer come out, which is a pretty interesting selection that we've seen in some very situational drafts. In this position, they're specifically looking at a composition that can contest, if necessary, in a 3 versus 3 circumstance, because, of course, the Venomancer and Rubik have their own potential as far as aggressive carries, but I'm concerned if they are going up against a Lifestealer and a Jakiro. I mean, Rubik and Venomancer has okay base armor, Rubik has terrible base armor, but either way, Lifestealer cannot be stopped by either of them. Like, they have no tools to deal with him. So I'm kind of concerned in this position, if they do end up going with the Lifesteal against the Lifesteal in the laning phase, that they're just going to get dropped down really quickly, and they can't do much to defend the carry because they can't do much to defend themselves.
Yeah, it depends on what carry they pick, though. We know Mouse loves to run anti-mage. Black loves playing that hero. What other carries are there? There's, of course, the Gyrocopter, which we saw first ban last game, and it's still in the pool this game. There is the Luna, although I haven't seen Mouse use Luna too effectively. What else is there? There's an Alchemist. Alchemist, again, I don't like picking that hero versus Lifestealer just because Lifestealer most of the time owns Alchemist, even on equal farm. So, let's see. I expect them to pick a rather tanky hero just because I think they're going to be forced in a defensive position. SD, Jakiro, Lifestealer, very, very aggressive in nature, and I fully expect them to run an offensive triple lane versus Mousesports if they pick a rather passive hero. I think they're kind of forced to at this point.
This is really bad for Mousesports. I mean, the fact is that would mean that Magnus does get a solo lane, but even then it's a solo lane versus a lone druid, so that in of itself is not going to be substantial. Alchemist will help out how high potential their tri-lane is, but in general, if Mousesports comes out on top, I'll just put it this way, if they come out on top with Rubik, Venomancer, Alchemist versus Lifestealer, Jakiro, Shadow Demon, I will be just completely astounded.
I will too, especially with Universe playing the Lifestealer. I don't think he'll be as conservative with his rage, and they'll most likely be able to score early game kills against Mouse if they pair up Tri vs. Tri. It looks like they already are heading up top. Yeah. So I will introduce the side of Team Dignitas. We see Sahil O'Neal, also known as Way Too Sexy, the drafter on the Shadow Demon, Fog Dota on the support Jakiro, babysitting LeBron James, also known as Universe, on the Lifestealer. We have Aoi 2000 on the solo lone druid on bottom, already sending his bear close to the bottom to scout it out, and snaking #the king on Puck solo mid.
Indeed. And then we do have, of course, up top, Black is going to be running that Alchemist there. We're going to see Synderen picking up the Venomancer. Tsar will be on this Rubik here. Up in the mid lane is Koikova on that Templar Assassin once more, and it is going to be Pause down on the off lane, that Magnus. So again, shifting up their roles for the fact that they do have that stand-in, making things work here. It should be pretty effective. But yeah, the one thing I'm so concerned about is how this lane's going to work, because Concoction, defensively disrupted every single time. The Rage will nullify a lot of the slowing effects and the telekinesis effects, meaning they just don't have the chance to kind of fight them on open ground. And it seems to me that really Mouse is going to have their work cut out for them.
I definitely agree with you there. In terms of the other matchups, I think that Aoi has a huge advantage versus the Magnus middle. I think he has a huge advantage almost every single melee hero, bar Lifestealer, especially in his safe lane. So I can expect Aoi to get a decent amount of farm in there. And for the mid lane, we have Snaking versus TA. Again, TA has a slight advantage just because of the refraction, but things can change very easily at level 6. I also think that he'll have an easier time escaping if there are a lot of potential games. We see Shadow Demon already get a DD for the top lane, so things are already not looking good for Mouz.
Yeah, that's, I mean, good start for him, of course. With that long-range attack, he's going to be able to do a lot here. They do actually get a good sentry off here, but it looks like they have their own sentry to possibly contest it. However, in the mind games back and forth, right now, Wei 2 is just going to go and drop. He already has the sentry up. He just needs 2 right clicks to finish it off. He does, actually, no, it's not even going to be a successful Gale. Like, that was a point-and-click Gale, and because of the cliffing and how that works, Cernun's as confused about it as anybody else. There's going to be a disruption. Some right-click will come on through. Telekinesis will send the Shadow Demon out afar, but the big damage from that DD is doing a lot here, and Cinder might be the first blood. There's going to be the right click to finish it off. He does get it with that long-range Ice Path. Really good maneuver there, and Ice Frog, yeah, he seems to be a little bit unhappy about how that Venomous Gale worked on from the high ground to the low.
Yeah, just being a little bit greedy there. I mean, if you see a support with a DD, especially one with a very good attack animation like Shadow Demon, you should just back off and wait for it to run down. Rubik tried his best by throwing him away, but early first blood will go again to Team Dignitas. Again, Cinderin dying a couple times early. We saw this again last game. Cinderin was caught out of position quite a few times in the early game, and it didn't end up costing them too much, but still, you never want to give a first blood where you can avoid it just simply by positioning yourself a little bit better.
It's going to be an interesting matchup between Snaking and Koikova. Of course, Koikova did go for the bottle rush, whereas Puck went for some harder stats here. But once they both have bottles, I feel that the big thing that Snaking brings to the table is rune control through those orbs. Koikova will go ahead and just bottle crow it up like we saw in the mid-game last time around. Actually, no, Telekinesis will come on through, but unless they commit the disruption, actually they do have Alchemist charging up the concoction. He's going to come out, but still be able to throw it off. 2 seconds remaining, drops it down to the life switch before they fall back from here. So, the kind of a little bit of a skirmish exchange, but nothing really committed. We do see Koikova doing a lot of damage on the Snaking, but with a phase shift, he could try to turn it around underneath the tower, taking a lot of hits though, and Koikova is actually just going to get it with 2 simple strikes. I forget how weak that Puck is early with that armor, and yeah, TA is actually able to do sufficient damage to bring him down.
Well, I actually totally missed out on that kill. I completely do not expect the Temple Assassin to be able to kill Snaking in middle, well, Snaking as Puck, that is.
Yeah.
It looks like Cinder's in big trouble again.
Yeah, he's gonna, even if he tries to juke in the fog, he still has a Shadow Poison up, so they have vision here. But despite the stun, the good use of Telekinesis is going to be able to peel him off, so they're not going to have to worry about that. But no, I was really, really surprised about that. Honestly, it didn't even say, I almost thought that 2 right clicks wouldn't be enough, but TA just had enough with the offensive buff of the refraction to provide just that little extra bonus, putting it over the top. And yeah, really, really strong in this position. Can go again for just some more strikes through the side blades, piercing on through the creeps and harassing down his HP pool. So it's really, really bad for Snaking because he still doesn't have his bottle.
Oh, looks like he's in trouble again.
He will be able to jaunt, but it's a lot. I mean, the Meld Strike coming on through, all this stuff is something that he really can't handle at this stage with Koikova having such an advantage right here.
And Aoi 2000 just completely dominating bottom, like 17 last hits and 10 denies. So he's almost a full level ahead of Paz right now, and Paz only have 7 last hits and 0 denies. Out of mana right now, looks like he is fearing over a bottle just so he can sustain some sort of lane presence.
Yeah. This is going to get very difficult for Snaking if he doesn't make something happen soon. I mean, he does have the bottle forthcoming. Actually, Boots. He went for Boots before his bottle. What do you think about that selection?
I mean, I think he's just going to be in a defensive position for the next few minutes because without that bottle crow. But it looks like Sar will be going on top.
Concoction is charging on up. Sar taking a lot of hits here. He does not get connected by the Ice Path, though, and it looks like Universe might not be able to finish off. One more right click will do the job, but Shadow Demon does fall as well, and it's going to be actually the first kill. Jakir taking a lot. He will drop, and now they can close in on Lifesteal. They have at least 1 point of Poison Sting, and with Koikova doing some path block, big damage coming out. They're going to be able to get the Concoction. He doesn't have mana for Rage. He does, but he didn't use it in time. Didn't spam out his Rage, but instead just getting eaten up by the stun and does get dropped down.
Again, being a little bit too conservative with...
I mean, I don't think that was conservation. They just, I mean, he knew he was dead one way or another, but...
Yeah, I think Rage Charging would have at least spawned him a couple of times and, you know, let Snaking farm up his body. He really needs that 200 gold. He's just sitting at half HP right now, unable to do anything versus Koikova. Koikova full level ahead of him right now.
Yeah. Puck will get some opportunity for some free experience a little bit with that Invis Room, but pops it pretty early. He's going to drop down as well this Sentry. It breaks down the trap really quickly, but most importantly, if they want to gank on top of Koikova, they need that Sentry in place so that the Mild isn't the end-all be-all of her surviving. Going on in, we're going to see a Bottle Crow up, knowing he couldn't pick up the 4-minute rune, so he will be able to continue to stay on the lane. And right now, I gotta say, Mousesports seem to have a great advantage once more. I mean, of course, Black is farming extremely well. Right now, he has... not so much on CS, but he has the ability to go for this Gravel Greed without being dropped down too much. So yeah, he won 0 and 2. It actually surprises me how few CS he's gotten, but they are going to be made to count later on when that Gravel's Greed really starts taking effect.
Yeah, I think Dignitas could really abuse these creep pools that we found the last time they were fighting, like very close. Oh, I hear the open wounds.
Yeah, coming down Black. He is going to get possibly disrupted just to keep him in place. Yeah, they're going to go follow up the Ice Path here. Lock down with the slow. Nice Rage coming out so that the Gale does nothing. And the last right click will go on through to give Lifesteal the kill. So he does have his phase boots if that's what he wants. And indeed, he does. Universe going to be very active, very mobile. And it's going to be difficult for these supports to be able to escape. Especially Rubik, who is literally sitting on 0 items. And of course with this 290 base MS.
So it looks like Cinder is in trouble on top, but LeBron James will decide to back off as soon as there is a TP from Black. I think they just need to play defensively. Again, last time they lost the 2-1 exchange, they were like fighting a little bit northeast of the Observer Ward that's blocking the spawn. To be honest, they can just control both creep pool camps and creep pool themselves, get a lot of levels on their supports and on the Universe, and just try and kill Black.
Big gang coming in. The Puck is smoked up. There's the disruption. There's the Ice Path keeping in place. The Dream Coil will hit on all 3, I believe. He only gets 2, but still, Synderen going to take a lot of hits here. There's the Orb going across. They're going to be able to throw the stun onto Universe. Here comes Koikova trying to do some damage on top of Lifestealer. Has Magic Stick cooling down. Full charge is ready to go, and they're going to be able to try to turn this around. Koikova does dodge out the stun, though, having a phase boots of his own. So, still turtling underneath the tower. They only pick up 1 kill here, but it's, yeah, putting points on the board they otherwise wouldn't have.
And Paz is suffering a huge XP deficit on bottom, 2 levels below on Aoi, and forces Skewer back and just constantly play defensive. He does have a regen rune, so that will help him out a little bit on his quest to getting that reverse polarity.
Trying to close in on Black. They need to get some kind of slow off, though, so Snaking orbing in, yeah, he can do some damage, but he won't be able to net the kill. They are just kind of keep grouped up together because the flank is coming in, and anytime they hesitate, they will get picked up here. Big damage coming out. They do drop it down on Desar, though, to finish it off. There is the orb. Oh, big Belt Strike after the UA coming down on top of the Puck. So he gets dropped, but Black with him. There is the right clicks. There is the kill. Defensive disruption coming out, but way too sexy. Should drop with 1 more right click. Koikova now technically on the run, but I think he feels confident about his position. He still has that full refraction up, and he's up against the 2 heroes without any mana. Fog does get a nice ice battle off. Will it be enough? 2 seconds. There's the shockwave, but the open wound should give them enough distance. Still trying to drop off the trap, go for the phase boots, but Fog pops off that salve and will be able to get away.
Yeah, so pretty good exchange for, I think they both came out about even on that.
Yeah, honestly.
Yeah, so 6-6 in terms of kills, XP 1,200 in favor of Dignitas, and gold almost 2,000 in favor of Dignitas, and especially with this T1 tower under heavy fire from Aoi, in a pretty good position this early game.
Yeah, the big deal right now is that Snaking isn't going to be able to snowball. He is going to have to fight for every kill that he can claim because, honestly, he's not going to have a gold advantage compared to other carry. Like, generally speaking, Snaking is in a position where he has a lot of items to work with, a lot of tricks up his sleeve, but right now he is behind the Alchemist that's been barely last hitting. He's above the Venomancer, he's above the supports, but he's not really going to make his impact. He's not going to get the Blink Dagger for a good time, and he's going to be relying on his supports.
Shadow Demon?
Yeah, they're going to try to bring down way too sexy here. He has those phase boots, so pretty much, yeah, way too can't get out of this situation. Going to try to die to Roche. The last right click will be enough, though, and so that does bring him down. Up on top lane, we do see there is going to be damage onto Tsar. Should be enough to finish him off real quick. Yeah, the Dual Breath, the right click, finish it off. Concoction coming out onto Fog in just a moment. Nice and fast to do a bit of damage, though. Sets up Lifestealer with a lot of HP to work with. Cinder and salving on up. They have to get some damage on top of him, but he's still, the heal keeps sticking away, and instead they have to deal with this Alchemist. Ogre just running rampant right now, and Cinderin gonna TP away all the way back to base. So, kind of a bit of a back and forth exchange, but they do pick up the kill they're looking for.
Yeah, and I did not think that TA would have this good of a start. She is sitting 5-0 right now, and very close to Blink Dagger. Phase boost already complete and 1,700 gold in the bank. So again, I talked a little bit earlier during the draft about how TA was going to have a difficult time, but I think that early death by Snaking just really set things up for him and just really set the tone. Like, Snaking's like really poor right now. 1,000 gold, brown boots, and just no talisman, not even a bottle.
Yeah. He didn't seem to be using his range to the greatest advantage. Actually, Deny should come out on top. The right click's there. Actually, no, goes to the Shadow Demon. So they unfortunately miss out on that opportunity, but Koikova is so darn quick, he might be able to actually pick up a kill. Unfortunately, that Ice Path pretty much dissuades that from happening. They are going to be seeing that trap come on through, and they do actually pick up Fog here. They're going to go, the stun will connect. Meld Strike as well. It's going to be a kill for the Alchemist. Nice Gale come out as well onto Way Too Sexy. Following it up, Koikova can easily go into the tower here. And they go for the Telekinesis. They pull him right back on in, but the Disruption coming on out from the Shadow Demon right there. Oh my goodness. Venomancer dropping down. There's going to be damage on Templar Assassin to finish her off as well. And here comes Dignitas swinging. Gets the Entangle proc onto Tsar. And a great rotation coming out of Aoi. And a good disruption coming out of Way Too. Keep them up and kicking. And they kick back.
Yeah, very nice bait there with the defensive disrupt. Well played by Way Too right there.
Very close to the wire, but we do see
Black's in danger.
Open Wounds will take out a lot of slowing effect, but he does have that Chemical Rage, gives him plenty of movement speed, and no Entangle procs just yet. So instead, just throwing out the concoction, he's still active, and yeah, he's going to be able to fall back to base.
That is no Admiral Bulldog Bear, not getting the roost when you need him. How unfortunate for Aoi.
Yeah. A lot of big right clicks. He did get one good one on Rubik a little bit earlier, but yeah, you're going to have to rely on that RNG and just kind of set up as many opportunities as possible to try to actually get the kills, get the lockdown that they're looking for. Because right now they honestly don't have that good of hard disable. They have the Dream Coil, which is very soft, the Disruption, which doesn't actually stun you, it just takes you out of the fight for 2.5 seconds, and then they have the Ice Path, which is really their only hard stun. So it allows Mouse to maneuver, it allows Mouse to keep on fighting, and it kind of going to make these fights more back and forth, kind of like just a little bit of a bar brawl, as they won't really stop attacking, won't stop casting. All they're going to be able to do is hold them in place for a moment.
One thing that's especially going well for Dignitas right now is both of their supports are very high level. Almost level 6 on, or actually he's just level 5 on Shadow Demon, and almost level 6 on Fog. Yes, he is level 6, and both of these supports on the side of Mouse are level 4. So them not having their ultimates, and they probably won't have it up for maybe another 3 to 4 minutes, is really going to hurt them in this next couple of engagements. And we haven't seen Magnus at all, really. I don't think I've seen him cast RP, but looks like he almost has the Arcane Boost after being pressured very heavily by Aoi's Lone Druid early game.
Yeah, the sob story right now is the Rubik. He is sitting on absolutely no items. He's probably picked up Flying Courier, maybe a set of wards, but right now he's just in a position where he doesn't have any real net worth to his name. We do see Universe getting very deep on top of Black, but he cannot finish him off in this time frame, but they are going to get the Dream Coil and the Orb to supplement that damage there. Sar taking a lot of hits, gets bursted by the Infest, and they actually get a Silence off on pause as well, so he cannot RP and go for the Skewer. So that was just great timing, great positioning, Snaking and Universe together, and they almost want to go deeper. I don't think they can, I don't think they should, but they certainly are looking for the opportunity to do so.
Koikova is chasing Shadow Demon on bottom.
Yeah, is actually trying to pursue, but he's kind of pinned in a weird spot, just joining his allies that are pushing down on this tier 2 to try to bring it down swiftly without too much yield, because the TA is going to go for solo pickoff. She can't just go head-to-head 1 versus 3. She'd be bashing her head against the wall. Is actually going to try to cruise in to bring down Snaking here. He has a regen rune just outside of his reach. The trap going to slow him on down. A lot of right clicks, one phase shift. There's going to be the TP. The Meld Strike is too much damage. She will bring him down and pick up the regen rune for herself. So a Puck just trying to survive. Unfortunately, Snaking just not tanky enough, and so he does get dropped. And now we do see Universe. He does rage down out. He does survive on through the UA. The question is, no, just go for the TP. Good move there. He won't be able to be telekinesis. They actually try to lift the creep, just spamming out that cooldown for the rage to expire. But no, he gets out very safely, and now they're actually ahead as far as kills go at the very least. Looking at the graphs, we do see 10,000 gold in favor of Dignitas and experience about half that, so they're in a pretty good position, all things considered.
Yep, and Koikova 2,200 gold, so it looks like he will have his Blink Dagger if that is the item choice he is going for. Did you play WoW by chance?
Of course I did.
UA, so Unstable Affliction right there.
Yeah, there you go. Oh, UC. Oh my gosh, I can't believe I've been misacronyming that over and over.
Okay. Did you play Warlock?
No, my buddy did though. 2v2, but yeah.
Well, I know where it's from too, don't worry, but I was like, UA, I was like, okay, first time we'll let it slide. Second time, okay, this guy definitely
fix it up.
Played well. Regardless, yeah, in terms of the gold graph, over 10,000 in favor of Dignitas. So even though the kill advantage is only 3, this lack of tower is really hurting Mouse right now. They don't have any towers down, even though Koikova was off to a very nice start.
Yeah, so that's I mean that's really them pushing in, taking advantages of their team fights, and specifically Aoi just doing as much as he can as far as working down the towers. They've taken down bot lane entirely, and now they're putting pressure on mid here. So they feel in a pretty good spot. But actually, Alchemist taking a lot of damage here will be able to TP out successfully. They use his Dream Coil early, and that's what I'm talking about. No hard stuns, even without a blacking bar, even without any kind of escapes. They're just able to TP away.
On mid lane.
Now we do see the Gale not connecting on towards the Shadow Reaver, but the Shockwave will. Good maneuver from Paz. Just kind of forcing himself forward with the skewer, landing the Shockwave at long range, just barely netting that kill. But we do see jumping on in. The Blink is active. Fog gets a nice Ice Pass, but the Shockwave misses, and that means Fog will be perfectly safe. Not so sure about snaking, though. He has his Blink. He's very survivable. They're going to go on Cindered really quickly. Only 5 right clicks required to bring him down here. He does miss the Gale, and now you just have to deal with the Templar Assassin. The slow can come on through, but honestly, right now, the Nakes can kind of man-fight this, but unfortunately, Puck cannot. Being picked up by the Telekinesis will be able to jaunt away, and it looks like he might be able to escape with the Blink TP. So, good maneuver there. But, yeah, they pretty much were in a rough spot, and all they could do was run. They really, when Mouz started pincering in, they tried to kind of just pinch them down and finish it off. But the fortunate thing for them is while they're leading them on those wild goose chases through the jungle, Aoi's just pushing non-stop. Already took down the tier 2, as I mentioned, and now putting some hits into the tier 3.
Yeah, and Paz still quite a bit away from his blade. I haven't seen him use RP still, but we might see him use it now after they have smoked up. We see 3 heroes smoked up. Looks like they're trying to head towards Roshan, or somewhere around there. Quickva does not have a trap set up there.
Yeah, I'm not so sure about Roche at this stage. I mean, oh, actually, I missed a kill up on top. Really, Alchemist not in a good position there. We do see Lone Druid taking a skewer, taking a lot of right clicks here, but Snaking goes in, drops his spells on everyone here. Pause will drop quickly. Quickva runs out of refraction charges, is probably going to try to meld. Now, he will be able to just keep on walking, pop off the refraction, and get on out of there. But the supports are dropping low, and there's a nice move from Snake King. The Shadow Poison giving them vision so he can just blink on in and orb him down. Now going on the Korshuva, and they are going to be able to get the sentry off. So there's the Ice Path, and that should be enough to get the kill. So really, really good usage of their stuns, movement, and staying aggressive. And Snake King's not done yet. Going in for Cinder, just needs the Waning Rift to connect, but unfortunately just out of range. Last right click will not come, and so Snake King just TP's on the way.
This is a really important sentry, this one right here. That's actually saw the smoke of those 3 smoked heroes and pretty much let Dignitas react accordingly, and they just kept the Magnus from getting his RP off and were able to just crush the rest of the Mouse lineup right there. So Sentry MVP for that fight, and that will lead to the 2nd T2 tower down, the 5th tower overall for Dignitas.
They're going to be looking at this top. It only has 400 HP, so they're just kind of cementing an advantage right now and going to try to finish this off here. We're looking at 14,000 gold. It's just towers on the map, a few kills here and there, and they are just destroying this. The Armlet not actually being used by University doesn't... There's a conservative aspect, I suppose, but they're going to get the last hit for the Lone Druid. Now 2,000 is now going to be able to move in towards bigger and better things. 2,800 gold. Do you think he's going to go for a Basher or what?
You said that how they lacked a couple of the tables. I think a Basher is a pretty good choice. Although Maelstrom is the tried and true, I think both of them are very good choices. I think that Mouse's draft is a little bit weak. We saw them actually come out on top in top lane. Like, I think them trading evenly on kills is a big win for Mouse there.
Yeah.
And we saw Quickfoot get a solo kill on Snaking in middle. So again, a big win there for Mouse. But again, what do they have for the Silver? Just a solo Magnus with absolutely no support, since they have to devote all their attention to Black on the Alchemist. And even though they did pretty well in the early game, they're just completely falling apart here. And now he's just having his way with whatever farm he like, and he's just looking very, very rich. 3,400 gold, taking down a couple of towers, and all 6 towers are down for Mouse. Again, I think it's a little bit of a draft problem, because they seem like they executed very, very well in the lane.
Yeah, like the Magnus Rube, like I said, that's a pretty standard opener as far as the draft goes, and then the Alchemist synergizes with him pretty well. But as we mentioned, the TA pick is kind of meh. It's been played very well by Quickva. No, just not taking anything away from him. He's been playing a great game as far as his aggression and his placement in the lane. But in general, in the team, he doesn't change all that much.
There's another smoke.
Oh, another
4 heroes.
That's going to be a temp for initiation. But to finish my point real quick, Venomancer, not really changing anything right now. Only level 5, hasn't done too much for the tri lane, and the team fight, of course, just dying. He's pretty much food for the slaughter. Now they're going to go flank in. Maybe they'll get something more of it, but a Plague Ward placement makes things a little more awkward. Now they're right on top of the Sentry Ward. They've got to know about this Ice Path comes on out. Fog can drop the Macro Pyre. Just a dual breath for right now. Koikova, nice defensive disruption. They're going to keep the Jakiro alive, at least for the moment. Paz takes some hits here. Wants to RP, but instead just getting ultied up by that Dream Coil. Closing on Koikova. They don't get the Entangle yet. RP will go down on towards Snaking. He does get the Skewer. He might get the Shockwave. The right click is all he needs, but the phase shift, he's still up. There we go. Paz will connect the kill, but pay for it with this right clicks from Lifesteal, just feeding him up, and they do finish it off here. Looks like Koikova was able to get back to base safely. Tsar, not so much.
Yeah, so, I mean, I think they had the right idea there, trying to backstab them from behind, but that Venovore just kind of gave it away. It attacked downhill, and I think they knew that they were there.
Now coming in on top of Cinder, and here just bursting him down. They forgot a friggin' Dagon on the Shadow Demon, so that is just too much for them to handle. Getting bursted down, they don't have detection on Koikova, but they've just been pretty much destroying every fight. Not a single one has been a full 5v5 engagement. They haven't been willing to go offensive. They've always been on the run, and in that perspective, you're not going to be able to get much mileage out of your TA's early farm. She has the blink, she loves to chase, but when you can only RP desperately to try to find a kill, you're not really coming out on top, and honestly, just Black's farm isn't high enough for them to be able to be relevant. Their item set, I mean, he's got treads and a magic wand. He has a CS count of 41, despite 3 points put in greed. I mean, that's not how Alchemist is designed to be played.
Poor Cinderin, only level 5.5, 20 minutes in, unable to get even one Poison Nova off this game.
Yeah, possibly for the entire game. Like right now, he's just getting picked over and over, and yeah, Snaking goes for a quick, easy solo pick off there, and just finding every opportunity in the book to bring him down. It looks like Snaking's going for a Dagon as well. We were talking about how low HP he has, and that's just going to make it worse. Dreamcoil is stolen, interestingly enough. Curious if they can actually make something happen with that, but for right now, it looks pretty bleak.
Bleak indeed. Although Magnus is fairly close to his blink, and we have seen some tremendous comebacks. Alchemist is a farming champion if you leave him alone, especially with Empower. But until they get that blink up on Paz, I don't think they'll be able to hold a T3 tower, especially with the impending Aegis and Roshan kill. He is at half HP right now, and I believe it will go to LeBron James. We see a relic on the Spirit Bear.
Interesting. Yeah, nice movement there. I guess that'll be the Abyssal when he actually gets the cash for it. But at this stage, it could be really anything, whatever. We do see the Aegis is picked up by the puck. He has plenty going for him there, so why not just jump in aggressively and be on the front line? Kind of the same idea of giving it to something like a Queen of Pain. You want to jump in and just make your impact known extremely quickly, and then have your cooldowns back up for your next round too.
So it looks like they will smoke, and I believe they're headed up top, but it looks like only Universe is there. He's really requesting backup, and Snaking is hot on his tail, but they don't have any revelation between the two of them.
Blink Infest will work out, though. They're going to not actually do too much damage up front to Koikova, but the refraction just expired. The timing of it, I don't think they planned it that way, but it's really, really perfect. They got the silence when his refraction came on off cooldown, and that's the timing that it does, of course, expire. So perfect timing, perfect burst, extremely efficient kill.
Yep, and it looks like they will turtle up with wards, although they are only level 3 wards from Cinderin, and they're trying to desperately defend right now, but Dignitas applying pressure from all 3 lanes. Dignitas Dignitas Aoi 2000 on bottom. We see the 2 supports in middle, and Snaking with his Aegis and Lifesteal up top, just applying pressure on all these T3, and they can't defend all 3 of them. Sure, they can use RP, but then they'll only get 2, and most likely the Syllabear is just going to whack away on the tower on bottom. And look at that, the tower is just going down. It's only 100 HP left.
Yeah, it's already been fallen. They can't even get the deny out here. It's just drops so darn quick. And I would like to say that's about the Radiance, about the split push, but no, they've had too much an advantage right now. I was at level 14, and he's been able to get that bear very, very tanky, very willing to go on the front line, and Mouz is running scared. They're hiding underneath, trying to keep things alive, and they do end up defending their racks, but it's already dropped to a third of its HP, and meanwhile tier 3 does drop on top. So split pushing it up, just doing damage where they can, and Mouz just kind of seem unhinged. They know that pretty much their time is up. They're going to go for a last hurrah here. Cinder taking too much damage, and he won't get that Poison Nova off. He won't get to level 6. We do see there's a Dream Coil coming on through, so that might make some impact here. Turning things around here. Nice Macro Pyre going on top, finishing off the Shadow Demon, burning down Alchemist with the Urn of Shadows and the damage over time. They get the kill on everyone here, including Tsar. They kill absolutely everything, and Koikova just has to run outside his base, because even that is not safe right now. Just very, very sad to see. They call a good game well played, and although this was only technically 2 games, because of how things played out for the delays of the match prior to this, it does mean that Dignitas take the win 2-1.
Yep, and Again, Dignitas TI3 direct invite and flexing their muscle right here, taking Mouz down in pretty convincing fashion, double their kills, 29-14 in a 24-minute game. So impressive play all around for them, and I mean, Aoi is just a beast on Syllabear. You cannot give him free reign like he did this game, just against a solo, a relatively weak offlane solo in the form of Paz. I think that was really just where things went wrong. He has Radiance, Armlet, and Phase Boost 24 minutes in, and Snaking able to bounce back from his rather rocky start.
Do you think if they had a hero that wasn't Venomancer, any other support, do you think that they could have changed how this played out?
I didn't really like the Alchemist pick, to be honest. I think, yeah, he just really didn't do anything. Again, I don't like picking him for his Lifestealer, and we just saw Lifestealer just proceed to destroy him all game, first in lane and then just in all these mid-game fights. I think Alchemist is just useless for Snakes, and you really need to ban him out if you want to run that lineup. Yeah. And Dignitas were very smart with their bans and kind of pigeonholed Mouz to do that just because they know Black likes to run that. They could have picked a Bane, possibly. I don't know. I don't remember the second phase ban. They could have picked a Gyro. Gyro's a little bit better because he is range and can at least harass a Lifestealer a little bit more. But again, this Alchemist I don't like a lot. Maybe a support Alchemist with the minus armor synergy and the support stun for the early Roshan, but I mean, it just didn't really seem to click together in this game.
And these reverse polarities haven't really been on point. I don't think he's been given many opportunities to make them work, but I mean, like, he just obviously is... not that it matters, but reverse polaritying a single bear isn't going to cut it, and honestly, we haven't seen some super amazing ones in this game here. So that was kind of true for Snaking in the last one. Pause in this one here. Just kind of seems a little bit the curse of the Magnus, that if you're playing against a team that can position against you appropriately, that have their own initiation tools and can control where the fights take place, that the Magnus becomes less and less of a threat, and of course the Puck is a great way to make that be the case. So difficult game for Mouse Sports. They just really, from the draft, they did have a lot of their work cut out for them, but they did give it a fighting shot. Koikva did a lot, got 8 kills, 5 assists, making an impact there, but unfortunately the 0-11 5 Synderen is not going to be able to get even half a Milk Award, as we do see, of course, Dignitas taking it away and finishing off this series.
Yep, and we did notice that Sar is a stand-in for Fata, so that could have something to do with Mouse's rather weak performance in this most recent game. However, we will see them next week, though, in the TI3 qualifier. So this will conclude the Curse Invitational for today. We have completed casting the 3 BO3s. I am Merlini Dota. You can follow me at twitch.tv/Merlini Dota or any of the other social media, all /Merlini Dota.
And I myself am Blaze. You can check me out at twitter.com/BlazeCasting, or also have a YouTube or a Twitch under the same extension. And yeah, just check out where I'm going to be covering content. I do stuff for Beyond the Summit for the Premier League, so other stuff like that.